Hey guys, Kai here from transformyourgame.net, and today we're going to be doing a deck profile on, the name of the video is, the deck's called Burgos Bold, but it's basically David Burgos' deck from Pro Play Tour Orlando. His second place finish there, congratulations once again. It was a really cool deck, and this is basically an evolution of how I would take the version of that deck into this new format. One of the problems that deck had was against orange decks, where they just were their bodies or their attackers were just way more efficient than yours. So with that in mind, it doesn't matter about how efficient their attackers are, because this deck is actually 6 wide thanks to the new Titan Masters from Titan Masters Attack. But we'll go into the character lineup real quick before I talk about that. So we're playing Demolisher. Demolisher is one of the mainstay pieces from David Burgos' original list. Just being able to flip this mode and swing for 6 Pierce 6 without any other assistance outside of just pips is pretty solid, and I think it's still worth running, especially since he makes the cost to where you can play 6 wide. So then we're playing Fangry as well. We're playing Fangry with the Parsec, the Bold One head, for 2 bodies, pretty easy. And then we're also playing Horri-bull with Krebs as his +2 HP head. Just really solid with Horri-bull as well. And then we're playing Brawn as our final 5-star character. So this is 6 wide, as I mentioned before. It basically overrides outside of a 6 wide orange deck. This deck is probably 6 wide is basically about the most wide you can be in this current given deck, I guess, deck formats type deal. But yeah, so about Brawn specifically, there are people who, all right, card just went flying off my desk. Great, excellent, exactly what you want. So about the Brawn, I've seen people play this version of the deck. There's been several streams and several tournaments I've seen people play this list, and they've played Night Racer over Brawn, and there are a few advantages to Night Racer. She has obviously more health. She's not an Autobot, so she doesn't take Sky Shadow's Bolt or the additional damage from Magnetic Dysfunction Ray. But the reason we're playing Brawn over Night... Oh, and she's always ranged, so your wedge formations are just infinitely better, because the only ranged character we have is Demolisher in this mode, and once you flip to this mode, then you just have a bunch of melee characters, and that's okay with wedge formation. It's not great, it's not amazing, but it's just okay. So there is definitely merit to Night Racer, but Brawn, I'm playing Brawn specifically because he hits a specific threshold, and it's not because flipping wedge formation is 4 Pierce 4. That's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. It's the main reason for why I think Brawn is super amazing, especially in an orange list, or a mixed deck list. But we need Brawn to hit a specific threshold because of Sky Shadow. He has proven to be basically the most dominant character by far, along with Horri-bull himself. But in that matchup, you need to be able to consistently get Sky Shadow into his combined mode before he gets 2 attacks, and then from there you just need to be able to deal with the Sky Shadow himself. So basically what I do when I'm going against Sky Shadow, you swing Brawn in, so you flip Horri-bull first into his body mode, then you swing with Brawn. You'll probably do 4 or 5 pierce damage somewhere in that ball range, and then somewhere in that range or something like that. You'll swing for that, and then next turn you flip Demolisher. You want to flip him as late as possible because you can draw composite armor and get him the bold 3 that he gets from the composite armor, but also just to keep him in range for a bit longer if you need to do wedge formation. Horrible, but then you flip with Demolisher, and then you actually attack with Demolisher second, because Fangry won't get his bold 2 and is honestly pretty weak in this format because of Sky Shadow, because he's going to be 7 stars along with Sky Shadow, and he doesn't get any bonuses if he ties. So you want to keep Fangry alive until they combine, so that Fangry will get the bold 2. So you have to attack with I feel you have to attack with Demolisher first. You'll do ping damage with Horri-bull, and then swing with Demolisher. They'll flip, or they'll combine, and then probably 3 to either of these guys because they're both valid targets. And then from there, Fangry will be able to go into the Sky Shadow for the bold 2, for bold 3 altogether, along with any weapons or actions you may have, and along with Horri-bull's ping damage of just being able to flip and all that stuff, you should be able to get there. You should. So that's that. Because once you get him to Ominous, then that's pretty whatever. You can get rid of Ominous pretty quickly with 3 Pierce 3. Almost any of these guys except for Horri-bull can flip to Pierce 3, 3 Pierce 3 pretty easily. So that's the main purpose of Brawn, because you have to hit that threshold, and it puts less emphasis on Horri-bull, because then Horri-bull can put damage onto, like if you have to attack the plane with Horri-bull or with Brawn, you can just ping damage onto the tank and then basically make Fangry's job easier. It's just all synergetic altogether. And yes, losing the range on Night Racer does suck, but I think you kind of have to play in this given format because of how strong Sky Shadow is and how strong Orange is, at least currently. And because we're playing an orange-black deck, Blue isn't going to... You basically have a super strong matchup against Blue, so you only really need to worry about Orange. But that being said, let's go into the battle deck first. So we're playing 3 Fusion Bore, we're playing 3 Power Punch, we're playing 3 Combat Dagger, 3 Composite Armor, 2 Bashing Shield, 2 Nitro Boosters, and 3 Escape Capsule. So Fusion Bore is the ideal weapon you want in the deck. Power Punch, they basically mean the same thing. 3 Pierce 3. The bold obviously can flip a white, but as you can see, we're playing some Solidarity Oranges, some Solidarity Blacks. So you're not always guaranteed the 5 Pierce 5 from the bold, the white or whatever, but they basically average out to be about the same for the most part. So there's that. Composite Armor mainly is for play on Demolisher, because this is basically this plus 3 attack, Pierce 3 on any of them is for Demolisher. So, however, this is a little better because +1, and also it allows Demolisher to defend for 7, which means he probably can live for a wheel turn or something. Common Dagger is mainly for the pips, but also bold 1 can come in handy every so often, more than likely not, but if you need a weapon and you need to hit the damage threshold, then it can get you there. Then Bashing Shield to hit Hollow Matter projectors and force fields, but also just +1 defense means 1 more flip on Demolisher, so really not that bad of a card to run 2 of, because at worst you can always just side down to 1 or something. And then 2 Nitro Boosters. So we do have a few targets for Nitro Boosters. We do have Brawn himself. In this mode, he can, since he's usually going to be the first attacker, well, there are some situations where you might have Fangry as the first attacker, so you could, if you open Nitro Boosters, you could do it with Brawn and get some pretty good damage that way. The 2 heads themselves, if you get to a wheel turn and you have the 2 heads with the Nitro Boosters, I would probably recommend doing so, because or keeping the Nitro Boosters in hand and not swapping it out for a green or something, because Parsec obviously matters more because of the bold 1. Crab can still get there, but both of these guys, if they can attack twice, they usually can do pretty decent amount of damage. So those 2 are also potential targets. Horri-bull is also a target because he's usually going to attack in this mode for the +2 defense, and also to move a damage, because swinging for 4 and then moving a damage and then swinging for 3 is about basically the same thing in this deck. So there's that. And then Of course, the main star of Nitro Boosters is Demolisher himself. If you do end up getting a situation where you open Demolisher and Nitro Boosters, you can get a pretty good amount of damage with him pretty easily because he can attack twice. And then since Braun is usually your second attacker, he's bulky enough to where it will take your opponent usually 2 attacks to get through him, unless they have like the opening hand of Grenade Launcher and Supercharge or Reckless Charge or whatever to wipe him out. And then if they have that, then it's whatever. But yeah, so getting more untaps in this deck is good because you have guaranteed damage. Escape Capsule is played for its pips. You can play it on any character. It doesn't have to be a Titan Master for the +1 attack, but realistically, it's there for the pips. You just don't really care to play it all that much unless, like Combat Dagger, you just need to get there. So, yeah, that's the upgrade lineup. I'll go into the actions now. So we're playing 3 Peace Through Tyranny, 3 Precision Fire, 3 Rock Toss, 3 Canyon Crash, 3 Fight for Position, playing 3 Heat of Battle, 2 Wedge Formation, and 1 Disassembler. Okay, so Peace Through Tyranny is just way too important not to play. Being able to get, you have 2 Titan Masters in your deck, so you can sack any one of them in order to get an extra turn with Parsec or Kred, as well as whatever. You can also sack Demolisher if need be, if he's gonna die next turn to direct damage anyway. Precision Fire is mainly for the pips as well, but you can get there with because of horri-bull. This and Rock Toss pips as well as just direct damage with horri-bull. Cayman Crash is insane with horri-bull, so you have to. I feel like you have to play. You're just missing out on a lot of horri-bull's power if you're not playing Cayman Crash. Fight for Position with horri-bull as well as the pips. You don't have both 3, but I think just the consistent damage matters more than the bolt 3. Like if you feel you need the bolt 3, you can always just side into supercharges and whatnot. But I don't think that's particularly necessary. But who knows? It might come to where you might need that in the end. So Heat of Battle gives bolt 3 and tough 3 to all characters. But the only thing that matters is your bolt 3, because tough 3 doesn't matter on them because you're flipping orange and black. So basically you're just making them flip extra cards. They might hit greens with this card, so do be mindful of that. Like things like Hollow Matter, Reflect Damage, and all that stuff can come into play because of this card, but for the most part, this is just a supercharge that you can use on the wheel turn to just give everyone bolt 3. So a really high impact damage card, especially on when you have 2 or more bodies that can attack. Wedge Formation, as we said before, not as strong because we don't have consistent range options. Our only range option is the Demolisher in tank mode, but still, just being able to guarantee a horri-bull trigger can basically just get you there. So we're still playing 2 of, and also the pip is fantastic because this in Braun is 4 Pierce 4, and that's pretty juicy, if I do say so myself. And then 1 Disassemble because there is a point to where you may need to play a specific upgrade, and then you still need to get rid of an armor or something. So you can do that, trigger horri-bull, and then play the upgrade, or you can play like Bashing Shield and then one of the actions. So it's just for the versatility of mixing up your plays. Yeah, that's the main deck. There are some decent options. You do so because you are very strong against blue decks. I think you only really need to side against the orange deck specifically, but there are some cards you do need to take into consideration, like Reprocess, because you do need to hit the W5 Gyro Blaster. That does stop a lot of your plays, so definitely side 1 or 2 copies of Reprocess for that. But for orange deck specifically, you just want to side 3 Improvised Shields and 3 Grenade Launchers. It's a pretty easy swap because you just side out into side this for this, and then you side the improvised shields for the escape capsules. It's a very easy swap, and it'll just make your deck almost as efficient as the aggro player's deck. So you basically just win out because you just have more bodies. So very easy and simple side deck strategy. But yeah, that's the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed, because this deck is a lot of fun, honestly. It's one of my favorite orange decks to play. Yeah, orange. It doesn't particularly fit the stratosphere of orange, but it's still pretty fun. What else can I say about it? It's still a very odd pick for this format because of how orange heavy it is. There are some blue decks that are topping every so often, but though they're just few and far between. More people are just likely to play orange, horri-bull, Sky Shadow, or Fangry, or all those other cards. But I think this deck is still unique and can definitely hold up its own against those decks, especially if you're siding into these cool cards. But yeah, that's the deck profile. The next deck profile will probably be what we call SS Incredible, but it's actually Sky Shadow Horri-bull. Yeah, that'll probably be the next deck profile. I don't know. I'll have to see, but yeah, that's the deck profile. I'm kind of rambling again, so yeah, like the video, subscribe, and yeah, just thanks for watching, because this is a lot of fun to do. We're trying to diversify our content. I keep saying that, but none of the other people have posted their deck profiles yet, to my knowledge, but at least at the time of this recording. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy and have yourselves a good one. Later.